record. All right, so I'm going to record this.
Okay.
All right. So when you get logged into Lead Republic, then you can go down to Order Manager.
Mm-hmm.
And when you want to be taking calls, all you do is click Enable. I'm going to turn them off because right now I don't want to call. But by clicking those on, you'll be getting calls. The moment you get a call, you want to disable those. So you want to go from pause to enable, which puts them on. You're not going to be receiving any calls at that point. The reason being is that these two centers are different. One's on the West Coast, one's on the East Coast, and they don't normally know what the others are doing. So you don't want to be receiving a call while you're already on the phone. The second reason is when you finish up with a call, you may have some additional things to take care of, and therefore you don't want to be interrupted with another call until you're ready to. Okay?
Am I only going to be getting calls for Texas because I'm only licensed in Texas?
Yeah, we'll probably need to get you appointed in a few other states. Texas is a great state, though. Last week, I think the majority of my calls were from Texas.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and get you appointed in a few other states. So a couple things. When you double-click Lead Manager right here, your leads will come up, and this is just really a backup. So you'll see Angela Miller here.
Okay.
A list, and you got a call coming in. It shows up here as well. And this is really the space you want to work from. So when you get the lead in here, you just click on it, and you can see all their information is here. And this particular one, and by the way, this woman, I got the call the other day. She answered the phone, said, I have to jump in a meeting, call me at 5:30, which I did. And I haven't been able to talk to her since. So I'm going to be requesting a refund on this one. So if there's no call when they go to do the transfer, it's not charged. But if you're not able to talk to the person and the call lasts less than a minute, then we need to request a refund on that. And we'll get into that a little bit later.
Can you back up for a sec? I don't know how you got here.
Okay, so when you log into My Alyss or to the Alyss system, we'll get to, actually, let's just go to the home page. You'll have prospects over here. And then when you click on prospect, that's one way to get to it.
Okay.
The second way is you go to work
and
then prospect list. Brings you to the same spot. Just so you know, a lot of these are not actual people I talked to. They were having an issue last week when they upgraded their system. And, they were just doing testing, trying to get the people in there. But nonetheless, once you're in here, then you just click on the name of the person that you're talking to. And all their information should populate. Anything that's got a yellow dot is required. Okay.
Anything that has a yellow dot is what?
Required.
Okay.
All right. So this one, for example, didn't have a street address. And when I go back over to here, I can see that we have Georgia, the zip code, but there's no address. I'm not sure why the address field is blank, but they did put in the city. For some reason, they labeled her a male instead of a female also, which is not accurate. But you just want to double check these things. I already changed it to female, and I don't know the address. So if you're on the phone with someone, and let's just say off the bat, they don't want to give you the address, make something up, and like 13 Anywhere Street.
Okay.
And then, so now you have all the required information in here. And then the next step is that you would go to their doctor information, but I wouldn't necessarily do that first. So let me just take a step back. I would do the quote. You see the little quote box right here?
Yes.
I would hit the quote box. Automatically, their age pops up. Whatever their height and weight that was input in would pop up. They were requesting $250,000. So what I would do in this case is, I don't know why I came up like that. I would put 250, And then I like to quote Preferred Plus, and the reason being is as I scroll down, the different rate classes pop up here. So you got Preferred Plus, Preferred, and Standard. And so if someone was asking me a quote, I would say, well, it's going to depend upon your health rating, but we have quotes ranging from 216 to 285.
And the preferred plus and the standard, that's their rating by the insurance company.
Right, that's their rating based on $250,000
Okay.
for a female, non-tobacco.
Okay.
You should be getting no or very few tobacco calls because smoking is a non-qualifier.
Okay.
However, if they smoke cigars,
Mm-hmm.
then that could come up because some of the carriers will treat occasional cigar smoking as a standard rate.
Okay.
So it just depends. Okay. So
Okay.
you've got the quotes now. And for some reason, I got to get hold of them. The only one that's popping up is North American, and I'm not sure why that's the only one popping up. Normally, we get 5 or 6 that pop up. And so it looks like they're still having an issue. But let's go through some of the buttons here. There's a thing called Small Talk. When that comes up, it'll tell you a little bit about where they live, the population, the demographics a little bit, just in case you need something to talk about. I've never used it. I'm just letting you know.
Okay. I was about to say, I'm not sure I want to actually discuss that, but okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, by the way, Annie, Amber's sitting here with me. She's going through the training with you as well.
Hello.
Hi, Amber.
Hi, Annie.
That's my sister. So you can add notes here. You can also add activities so you can treat this like a CRM system.
Mm-hmm.
So you can put in a to-do list, a call list. You can put the date, the time, and whenever you do that, it'll come up on your calendar.
Okay.
So I had several things to follow with, and I got someone to follow back with today, and another one tomorrow, and I will try Angela Miller again today. So you can utilize this once again as a CRM system. So let me just go back. So getting the quote is not hard. What should be popping up and what we're not seeing right now is the apply, to where you can go ahead and apply for an app just by clicking on it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our apps will be done through Midland. So Annie, I know you're now appointed with Midland. Have you gotten your login credentials yet?
I tried logging in, but I tried creating an account, but because I used to have a Midland policy,
Yeah.
they keep putting me in the customer side, so I have to call them.
Yeah, so give them a call, because what we're going to do now is go to Midland National. This is where the majority of our quotes will come from, because Midland's got great rates on term
Okay.
as well as on universal life. So we're going to go log in. Use your credentials to log in, obviously. And then I'm going to summarize this, and then we're going to have to take a break at 12 just so I can have some lunch before I pass out.
Okay.
And then I have an appointment at 1 o'clock, but I'm going to try and see if we can, what's your schedule? I know you're off today, Annie, and I don't want you to spend all day doing this, but I'm thinking around 2 o'clock Eastern, which would be like 1 o'clock your time.
Yeah, that'll be fine. That'll give me time to call Midland and hopefully get that account set up. And
Okay.
I'm home today packing because I'm moving a week from Friday, and so I can just stop and do this. That's fine.
Okay. So once you're logged in as an agent on Midland, then you'll be able to see a bunch of different things. One of them is going to be the e-business solutions.
Mm-hmm.
You would click e-business solutions. You click right here where it says submit exact app. So this is the electronic application and quoting service for Midland.
Nice.
This is going to be a start new case. So now I'm going to put, well, I guess I have my caps locked. So we'll do test client, and we'll give them a date of birth of 12/4, and we'll put down 1982. 35 years old. We'll say female. We'll say that they're looking for 200,000. I keep forgetting this field doesn't turn it. It's a text field, doesn't automatically turn it. And we'll say in this case they're looking for a term.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're quoting term, you want to select Premier. So we're going to select Premier. Based on the questions that we asked them earlier, then we already know that they're standard or preferred. Unless the person tells me they have absolutely no medication and that they're like in great shape, I'm gonna quote standard. If they tell me they have like just minor issues, maybe they take medication for high blood pressure but it's under control, then I'll quote preferred. If they're in great shape, I'm going to quote preferred plus. Anything else is going to be standard, which is just not. So we're going to just do standard in this case. And we're going to say she needed, what do we say, 200,000? So we're going to 200,000. You come down here, you hit calculate, and we can see the 10, 15 to 30. Just so everybody here on this call knows what I'm talking about when it comes to term, I never ever quote a 10-year term. So during the script, it says, so what length of period were you interested in? And I just threw in, was it 20 or 30 years? I've had one come back and said 10. I said, sir, for 15, if you're going to do 10, you might as well do 15 because you're going to get a better rate. So I've actually, I don't think I've ever done a 10-year term. So anyway, we're going to be quoting 20 or 30 and even 15. And I would say, so we're looking at a rate of $18 to $32. We put it standard, and it said, depending upon what happens in underwriting, it could actually be lower. But we're not going to know that until you get through underwriting, which is one of our next steps. So then I'm going to add, if they want any rider, I almost always add the waiver of premium, and I explained it to them this way. The likelihood of you dying between now and retirement is far less than the likelihood that you become disabled. So if you add the waiver of premium and you do get disabled, your insurance will stay in force. The insurance company will make the premium payments for you. And just so you know, by doing that, your payment then changed, and now it's gone up about $2 a month. So is it worth it to you to add $2 a month, so $34.94, to have lifetime protection for you and your family? I have had everybody say yes.
Okay.
Well, that's not quite true. I mean, I've had a few say no, but the majority of people will say yes. So once you've done and you've gotten back and that you've told the quote, the next thing is you want to view the illustration. And I'm going to show you how this works on the universal side in a second. But the reason you want to do that, whether it's term or universal, is by doing that, it'll then take all that information and flow it into the application eventually. You can tell this little blue status bar. We're upgrading our speed this Saturday to 150 megs a second, so hopefully things will fly a little bit faster. I don't know. We're supposed to be at 50 megs, and for some reason we're just not seeing the speed. So how's things in Texas?
Yesterday it was sleeting and it was cold. It went down to like 28, and then today it started out like that, but should be up in the 50s today. Welcome to Texas.
Yeah, I would have loved the 50s yesterday. It was 99% humidity. It was terrible.
Oh, wow. What was your temperature?
By the time I was done running yesterday, it was around 74.
Wow.
Okay, so for some reason we ran into a problem. If that happens, obviously you're talking with the client. Let's see if it's stowed itself in my cases. Yep, right there. So you just scroll back down. So just here's 2 cases that I submitted. This woman is getting her, and she decided both of these are getting indexed ULs. This was a phone call right here. This was a client. So once they finish their e-signature, it'll keep going through the process. So all you have to do is go back and click on the client. You can go back to quotes and illustrations. Let's do the view illustration again. And this becomes pretty much second nature once you've done it a couple times.
You don't put anything in that box that was next to the waiver?
Hold on one second. Let's go back over here.
The table rating?
It was already done.
No, the table rating. You don't put anything in there?
No. So table rating would occur if someone was unhealthy, and it's really hard to pick a table rating. And all the people that you're getting, I've already screened out. You should get no one with cancer, no one with diabetes. They should be healthy.
Okay.
No strokes or heart attacks.
Okay.
The only thing that might happen is they might be a cigar smoker, but I just saw something on here where on the case design, on the policy, it looked like it was a 10-year. Yep.
Okay, well, you have 1 o'clock, so.
Yep.
You're saying it's just kind of eat too.
Okay, well, give me 10 minutes.
When
all right.
he eats, I'm gonna go eat.
Is that Violi?
It is.
Yes, it is, believe it or not.
I can recognize your voice anywhere. Hi, Violi.
Hey, yeah, I'm doing an intern work in here.
Oh, okay.
All right, so now we'll see. Hold on. So right here, you can see the premium good for 30 years. And then you can see it goes up pretty dramatically after that. So now we've pushed the quote over through the illustration. If I click application, you'll see, just click this page right here. And then you just go right into it with the person on the phone. And hopefully you'll see this this afternoon. So next I would ask them their middle initial. I don't have one. That's great. Have you ever used a different name if they were married? The answer is yes. You put their maiden name in here. Date of birth we already have. Back test for age. Unless their birthday was just a few days ago, I usually put no. Marital status, we're just going to say single for now. You put their social security numbers, state of birth, country of birth, and then it's going to ask them for the state. If they're working, put their employer, what they do, annual income, net worth. Does the proposed have a driver's license? Everybody I've talked to does. Get their information. You enter in their address. That's almost always the same. Their mailing address as their regular address. Have you lived any place else in the last 3 months? No. And then you get their phone number, you enter that in. Email address, especially doing an e-app, you want to get their email address. I'm just letting you know, these should all be no's. Will the proposed insured be the owner? Except for that one, yes. Is the owner active duty military? Well, if it is, it is. You just enter that information. Are they subject to withholding backup? No. Will there be a joint owner? No. Will there be a contingent owner? No.
So back to the question about net worth. The majority of people have no idea what their net worth is. Do we help them through that?
Yeah, so normally if they say, well, I don't really know, I don't really have much, I say, well, you know what, people have cars, furniture, clothes, electronics, and everything else. Why don't we just put like 10,000? And they say, yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
And some might say, well, I think I got more than that. I say, well, so is it over 50? No. Is it over 25? Maybe. Okay, we'll do 20. I mean, so you just come up until you have a number that they're comfortable with.
Okay.
So next screen, you have to add a beneficiary. Just click here to add. And, and this is a great one to start getting them into the ownership mode. So here you're going to unless a business or a trust is going to own it, which very rare, it's going to be an individual. And then it's usually a husband or wife, or it could be a son or daughter. But it could be something else. So whatever is appropriate, I'm just gonna put son for right now. You'd enter all their information. You don't need their social security number. You'd like their date of birth and address, but if you don't have it, it's okay. You can just put the test client as being the same, and then this will all fill in. Put their date of birth in there, and then if they're the sole beneficiary, you put 100. If there's going to be more than one, you split it up. Just so you know, if it's as you can see, the only one it required me to have was the percentage and the name.
Well,
If it's
So if you put in less than 100, will it pop up with another box to add somebody else?
no, you got to come back here and click it, but it won't
Oh,
let you move
okay.
forward until the total is 100.
Okay.
So 2 is obviously 50 each, or it could be 70-30, and I've seen that happen before, 75-25. But if it's 3, you can't do a third, a third, a third. You have to do 2 at 33 and 1 at 34.
Okay.
All right. Would you like to name a contingent beneficiary? It's either yes or no. I've seen it go both ways. If it's a yes, then you're going to have to add the contingents. If it's no, then you're done and you just move on to the next screen.
Okay.
So let me just keep going here for a second. So now we're going to get to the plan information. Cigar use. In this case, we're going to say no. Have they used anything in the last 12 months? We're going to say no. By the way, if they use an e-cigarette, doing tobacco, they're going to be a smoker, just so you know.
Okay.
In this case, we said a 30-year term. Would they like to apply for an additional policy? This could be they're doing term with an IUL. In this case, we're going to say no. They have the waiver premium was the only rider we did. Do they have any life insurance pending? We'll say no. Do they want temporary insurance? So with Midland, as in most carriers, if you enter yes here, they'll literally be covered from today, which I strongly recommend. But you need to let them know one thing. If they go with temporary insurance, they're not going to be billed or charged until after they're approved. However, once they are approved, they're going to get billed immediately. So let's say, for example, when would you like to start your billing? We're in February, April 20th. Well, if that's the case, you don't want to do temporary insurance
Okay.
because they will get billed right away and they'll get billed in March as well. And I wouldn't really take a policy for April. I might do it for like the middle of March. But you just need to let them know if they want to be covered from today, just let them know they're not going to get charged, but the moment the policy is approved, they will be charged from that moment forward.
Okay.
So we'll just put no. Who's going to be paying? We'll put the proposed insured. We're going to say the same address. I normally don't click and alerting another person because they're the responsible party anyway. Have they received any comp? That'll always be a no. You're not paying someone to get covered for insurance, or you shouldn't.
Right.
Has the proposed insured been involved in any discussion to sell the policy? That should be a no. Will the funds be used from an IRA? That should be no. Payment type, it's almost always going to be EFT because that's the only way you can pay monthly. If they want to pay direct bill, it's got to be quarterly, semi-annual, or annual.
Okay.
How they're going to be paying, we're just going to say salary or savings. Let's just say salary. And now they're going to agree that the funds are coming from themselves and not a third party. Okay, so here you're going to go account type. We'll just put checking, same as
You said
payer.
no to that. You were supposed to say no to that? Because it said I certify, you said no.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, I just want to make sure I'm going to do it right. Okay.
Yep. That should be yes. Then you put their banking information in, and I just say, okay, so now just to re-clarify, or just to clarify and review, Annie, you're not going to get billed until you actually get approved. But they do require that we get your bank information. So which bank do you work with?
Bank of America.
Okay.
Amber, Nick, Carlos, Amber.
Hello.
And then you get their routing and account number. I will tell you, these are the two. If you're going to have a hiccup, this is where it's going to happen.
Isn't the routing number a 9-digit number though?
Routing digit's always a 9-digit number.
That's what I thought.
The accounting numbers can depend.
They verify.
But what I'll do after I get their bank information, I'll say what day of the month. I'll skip the account and routing number, and I'll ask what day of the month, once you're approved, is the best day for them to bill your account. And whatever day they tell me, I'll say great. So the 5th. So once you're approved, they'll start billing on the 5th. I just need your routing and account number. So what's your routing number? And do it like you're strong and confident. Don't be tentative. Just ask for it. And they'll say, well, why do you need that? Well, once you're approved, they are going to bill you. In the meantime, they're going to do all the underwriting to make sure that we can provide you with the premium that we said we could. If we can't, then the policy doesn't get issued, and no harm, no foul. So what's your routing number? And you just keep going back to it. I've only had a few people refuse to give me their banking information. I'm not giving that to anybody over the phone, which is kind of weird because they've already given me their social security number. They've already given me their address, their date of birth. I could replicate all their credit anyway. I don't need their bank information to do their credit, but whatever. This will happen. I'm just letting everybody know.
Understood.
You can sometimes, if you have their address, obviously, and their bank, you can actually Google the routing number for their city.
Yeah, so the routing number is not important. It's the account number.
Right.
And you're absolutely right, and I've done that before. So,
Me too.
yeah, just need your account information. So let me get your account number. And if it's something like a Wells Fargo or a Bank of America, then I would just go ahead and get the account number and say, we'll get your routing number later,
Okay.
which we will. We'll just Google it when we're done.
Mhm.
Are there
Right.
additional agents? You're going to click no. And then here, agent report. You're always going to click yes to this first one because Midland, this is being done electronically, so Midland will send them everything anyway.
Okay.
Do they have any existing insurance or annuities? That's either a yes or no. We'll put no for now. Is any insurance applied for going to be replacing anything? Well, that's dependent. It could or could not. Have all the materials used in this policy, are they approved? The answer is yes. Medical history, have you had any major medical conditions in the past 10 years? So just so you know, we're doing a term policy with someone 35 years old. This is slightly different than the way this policy application would have looked a week ago. And the reason being is now when you do a term policy with Midland, if none of these issues, when you get to the screen, say, look, I'm going to read off some medical conditions, and you let me know if you've had any of these issues. AIDS, Crohn's disease, kidney disease, no. Alcohol or drug abuse, no. Depression, no. Let me just make sure that we're in the proper height and weight. So we're going to scroll down. Okay, so here we are for male, female. Okay, so you're 5'5" and you're 180 pounds. Perfect. All right, so now everything is good. Let me just get rid of the screen.
Wow, that's a big leeway. 180 pounds at 5'4" is fat.
Okay, well, that's not for us to discuss. And I would suggest you don't mention that, by the way.
Well, I wasn't going to. I was just saying that was
Right,
That's
so
pretty-
now you go on. Okay, have you had any aneurysm, diabetes, or rheumatoid arthritis? Nope. Any anxiety or attention deficit disorder, emotional disorders like bipolar, schizophrenia, suicide attempts, seizure disorders? Nope. Asthma, heart disease, sleep apnea, atrial fibrillation, hepatitis B or C, stroke or mini stroke, cancer, high blood pressure, ulcerative colitis, COPD, chronic bronchitis, cholesterol. Have you had high cholesterol diagnosed in the last 3 months? And have you had a weight loss surgery in the last 5 years? If they answer no to all these questions, this application will be approved in 24 to 48 hours.
Okay.
All right. So it's called simplified, or not. It's called expedited underwriting. They can still get anywhere from preferred plus to standard, but the process will get sped up. Now, during the process of underwriting, if they uncover something that's different than what was told on the application, then they'll go through traditional underwriting, and at that point they'll need blood and urine and a paramed done, which is where they go out to their home and do that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now the next thing, do any of the following apply? Have you had any life insurance declined in the last 5 years? Have you filed bankruptcy in the last 5 years? Have you had any felony charges in the last 10 years? Have you had a DUI in the last 5 years? And are you a visa holder, meaning you're not a U.S. citizen? If the answer to any of those is a yes, it's not going to be approved either for quick underwriting. They have to go through traditional underwriting. So if I say no, we're good to go. But watch what happens if I say yes. Your application is not in good order. You got to go back through. Well, that's because I didn't finish filling out all the information. But this will wind up going and having to go through a traditional underwriting if you answer yes to that. Oh, are you back?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. All of a sudden you left.
No, right here.
No, I mean, the Ring Central just closed itself out and then restarted.
Okay. All right. So anyway, that's kind of how you do an app. And if you were to do, let me go back over here for a second.
So Carlos, do you eat blue crabs?
If we were over here and we were looking to do an e-app, I'm just going to save this for a second.
Okay. You don't eat seafood either, right? You don't like seafood. You're the first, I'm telling you. I have a lot of.
If you were going to do a universal life, you go back to quotes and illustrations. Go to index universal life.
The blue crabs, they're fun though. I like the dungeons crab.
Hello, training, being recorded.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so you have several choices for the universal life. I'll do a separate training on each one of these. The one that builds up the greatest amount of cash value is the CD5. The EC5 builds up early cash value, and the DB4 is kind of an alternative to whole life, because as long as you're making the minimum payments, your policy will be good for the rest of your life. Legacy Guaranteed Universal Life is a second to die. So what's nice about that is if you have a husband and a wife and one of them is not healthy, then they'll go based on the health of the healthier person, and the other one can still get coverage, because likely the unhealthy person will be the first to die. One other policy type up here, just to go back to universal life, is what's called Essential Guaranteed Universal Life. It is essentially a term policy for life. So that's another way to get a quote. Midland also has a desktop version. I would suggest you download it, because you can do quotes very quickly, and then just keep that screen open and enter them into the software when you're ready, because you can switch quicker on the desktop version than you can with the live electronic version.
So the guaranteed life that you were just, the essential guaranteed, that doesn't build up cash value then if it's just term, right?
That is correct. So if I go, so let's just say we started with someone, they wanted a term quote. What did we say this person was? 12/4/82. So let's go back to 12/04/1982. Female. We said we were going to quote standard. 250. We said 200,000. So go back over here, change it to 200,000, and we're going to do 30 years. It should be 32. We're going to add the rider. It should be $34. There it is. Exactly the same. Here's where this becomes much quicker, though. If you wanted to quote them on the essential guarantee, which is permanent term, change this to 200,000. there's the rate, $87.
Oh, wow, that was quick.
Very quick. If I wanted to quote her some rates for XLCV5, there's the rate. DB4, 92, EC5, 103. So I can do rate quotes very quickly on the desktop version,
Okay.
just changing a couple things. It's much more difficult, not difficult, it's just more time consuming on the live version. And when you're on the phone with someone, it's all about speed, getting them to make a commitment on which policy type they want and the premium, and then getting right into the application.
So you can't transfer from the desktop to online, is that correct?
That is correct. So
Okay.
let's say, for example, we were going through the different iterations on here, and they said, oh, so wait a minute. I can do the term for 30 years for $34.94, but eventually that'll run out. What would my premium be at the end of 30 years? And you say, well, it's going to be $4,736 a year, or about $400 a month, just under $400 a month. And what happens if I do the IUL? Well, the IUL is on the DB4, $92 a month, and it'll stay that way for the rest of your life. A lot of times people will make the change because they're looking at $1,000 a month, and this has the opportunity to build cash value. So as we see here, it just keeps building cash value, where the other one will just die out and they'll have nothing.
Okay.
So anyway, for people that understand it, the IUL is definitely a better choice. But sometimes you want to focus on term, because term is much easier to sell online, because people are looking for the lowest rate. But then once you start booking clients, you can always go back to the clients, and through email and other campaigns we can do, we can find those clients that are interested in upgrading to a permanent policy. But you will get people that will request a permanent policy.
Okay.
The moment I hear IUL, I go right to the desktop version. I start quoting these three rates right here. And it's so easy. Just click, boom, rate changes. Click, boom, rate changes. Click, boom, rate changes. So, you know, basically, depending upon the policy type and your goals, it's anywhere from 92 to 147 a month.
Okay. And so in this desktop version, you can go all the way to the end like you did on the online version. It's just that when you're done, you have to transfer it all to the online version.
Yeah, so let's say, for example, I knew that this, no, the only thing that you would have to do is at this point, you know that they're interested, let's just assume they're interested in the CV5.
Uh-huh.
So all I would do is I would go back over here. I would click Index Universal Life. I would pick the CV5 when it comes up. And now I'm filling out the app. I already know that that's what they're interested in. It's going to give me the same rates.
Oh, so you only use the desktop version to get the rate.
Yeah, get a quote number and find
Right.
out that that's what they're comfortable in. Then I just jump back over here to do the rest of the app.
Okay. Get it. I got it.
All right, so we're going to take a break.
Okay.
I'm going to eat. Annie, why don't you try and get on with Midland? And then Amber's going to take a break for lunch also. And then after we get done on the next training, I'm going to give you paperwork so that you can get appointed with Midland.
Sounds good.
All right. And then you should have gotten, I think you should have gotten a login for Maya List. Did you get that, Annie?
No.
Okay, let me reach out to Madison and make sure you get that quote as well. I got to reach out to them because now I only have one company coming up for the quotes. So
Okay.
we'll do a little bit of checking. I know there's going to be a couple bugs on this because, but one of the things you can also do, let me just show you real quick. If you go to the website Unleashing Results, which is our website, and you go under the Individuals tab, or if you on the home page, you can go here too. There's the term insurance quote. If I go, we'll just say that they're in Florida, and we said well, it doesn't matter. It's going to be close enough. 1982, I think we said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna say female, non-smoker, standard, 20-year term. Oh, I think we did 30-year term, and we did it for 200,000. Get quotes. There it is, 34 bucks. So no matter
Okay.
how you do it, that's what's gonna come up.
Okay.
All right. And on any of these, we can go ahead and if a client did this online, so even though Principal and Lincoln are just a couple dollars less a month, I still would go with North American. So I would start here because this is our preferred carrier. And by the way, North American is a sister company to Midland. So if you see
Oh.
North American, don't say North American, say Midland. And then I would say, so we got Midland starting at 34. We got American Amicable at 38, Ameritas at 37, Prudential at 40, Transamerica at 44, Mutual of Omaha at 58, and then just keep going up from there. Annie, is there a particular carrier that you like, or are you just looking for the best rate?
I want the cheapest.
Okay, so that means that's going to be Midland. Let me just get a little bit of information and get this started. Okay, so what's your middle initial? And then
D.
that's how I do it, and you'll hear it later. Hopefully we can get a live person on the phone and we'll go for it.
Okay. Just call me, let me know when you're ready, or text me or something.
All right, sounds great.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.